Hey guys, it's shwosty. So for this week's playtest, I wanted to try something a little bit more reserved than I'm used to. A lot of my gameplay up until now has been, running around, getting the flanks, breaking hearts, and securing objectives. I was originally going to do a video on the Chris Vector and how ridiculously overpowered it is, but when I was getting footage with that gun, something caught my eye. Something that I thought would be a bit more interesting because there's been a bunch of Chris Vector videos lately, and everybody just knows that it's overpowered. I kept noticing when I was getting footage with the Chris Vector that I would come up against these support players that are wielding the M249 and the L86. And every time I came up against one of these players with a Chris Vector, I started to panic because they just absorbed so many rounds. And sometimes I would find myself running out of ammunition before I've actually gotten the kill. So I decided that's what I want to do. I want to put terror into players that are using small caliber weapons, so I decided to become the Juggernaut. Now, it's not exactly the Juggernaut that you might think if you played games like Call of Duty, but it's probably the closest you're going to get within Battlebit Remastered. And when I'm talking about the Juggernaut, when you are playing support class and you've got access to the M249 and the L86, well, you also get the option to equip heavy armor on your character. Heavy armor is insane. It slows you down, so I noticed that when I was running 2 flags at the start of a round alongside other players, I was getting there maybe when the flag was halfway capped. So if you can drive around or stick to a specific area, this is where this class will excel. But you can take a lot more rounds than you can with light armor and medium armor, especially the helmet. The helmet is amazing. I've noticed that you're even able to take sniper rounds to the head at long range. I noticed a couple of guys that were playing with the L96. I would hear this ding sound and I wouldn't know what it was, and then a second later I would get shot in the head. So that first round isn't fully killing me. Now, I did notice guys that were using larger caliber snipers like the M200, they could still get a one-shot headshot, which I'm completely okay with. That's completely fair. But I can only imagine the shock on some of these guys' faces when they secure that headshot and the guy just walks away. It's not really as much of a run and gun class as you might be used to. This class really excels when you are holding a position, or if you equip the bipod and set that up, then you'll find that you're just shredding players that are within about 150 meters. Any more than that and the damage isn't too good, so you're going to find yourself having to get 5-6 shots connected onto a target to take them down. And when you're firing in bursts with an M249 and a player notices you, they can just run away. So yeah, really stick to those up close engagements. I wouldn't use a medium range sight. It's completely trash on this gun. The best one in my experience was the strike fire, which is a close range sight, but it gives you this really large field of view when you're aiming because the muzzle flash on the M249 is absolutely insane. If you're using a reflex sight or the red dot sight, then it's going to be really difficult to keep on target when you're firing in bursts. I don't really have an ideal class for the M249 yet. I mean, I did find some success using the strike fire, and I was also using the tactical compensator a lot and the stubby grip, but I could also swap out the stubby grip with the bipod as well. I suppose it's really down to what way you want to play this class. I found myself in the latter half sitting on flags and defending those chokeholds, especially on those maps that have indoor areas. You can really surprise people as they come around the corner. They can't get as much damage onto you as you can put onto them, and it's pretty good to go. If you can, I would recommend playing as close to any medic teammates as possible, because you only get bandages with this, which means you can survive one gunfight bandage, but then you're like a far lower amount of health and you'll likely get destroyed when you go into that second gunfight because you're slower, your gun doesn't have as quick of a time to kill as theirs might be. So yeah, stick close to those medics if you are going to run around. If you are going to set up with the bipod, then you're probably fine on your own. You do get the heavy ammo box as well, so you can keep yourself supplied the entire time. Now, you don't really spray a lot. I find if you're spraying a lot, you're just going to attract more attention. So really try and keep it to about 5 or 6 round bursts with about a half a second to pause in between. Ideally, if you've aimed it well, that 5-6 round burst should be enough to kill people at most ranges. But, sometimes you don't always land every shot. I don't anyway. The footage that you're seeing in this video was taken from probably the first hour or two of the playtest last night. For the other hour or two after that, I was playing a lot more conservatively with the bipod, but unfortunately the Nvidia gods decided to corrupt my shadowplay, so about 2/3 of all the footage I captured last night is completely worthless and it just had to go in the bin. Hopefully they fixed that. There was a new driver out yesterday. I don't know if it's related. I couldn't find anything of it. Let me know if you guys had problems with Shadowplay yesterday, or if it's just me. I don't know. But yeah, that's my experience playing as the quote-unquote Juggernaut in Battlebit Remastered. It's a fun class to play. It's not something I would play permanently. I find the character is far too slow walking around, and by the time I ran to an objective with my teammates, they either completely secured it or they had been pushed off and I'm there by myself. Also, the LMGs as they currently stand are actually quite weak. I mean, the M249 is a bit like an assault rifle, but the recoil on it is absolutely crazy and the damage at range is just pathetic. Obviously, you are trading a 100 round box magazine for these trade-offs, but I just don't think it's currently worth it. I would like to see the developers maybe reinvest into the LMGs a little bit. There's only 2 at the moment. I haven't even touched the L86 yet. But I did notice, even when I was using the bipod, when you use the bipod and you are lying prone, it works pretty well. But I found when I was trying to mount on surfaces, like even those bunkers that they have on some maps where, you know, a weapon like this would absolutely shine, when you go to deploy, you're not actually deployed unless you are like completely linear with the thing. If you try to mount on it at an angle, it just doesn't work. It got me killed a few times because I go to take a burst at somebody and the recoil just goes straight to the moon and then they return fire and kill me. But who knows, maybe they will revisit the LMG soon and then this weapon will be absolutely beautiful. But if you are looking for something new away from the current meta, then definitely give this a go if you're sick of just running around with assault rifles and SMGs. It can be a lot of fun, but it can be equally frustrating. Who knows, maybe the L86 is the better equivalent for this class, I just haven't tried it yet. Anyway guys, that's all for this week's video. I won't have a video out next week because I'll be away during the playtest. But yeah, let me know, have you guys tried the M249? Have you had any success with the heavy armor class? If so, let me know down in the comments. If you could leave a like on the video, that would be greatly appreciated, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.